Hello, everybody. I'm Bryan, and this is Bryan vs. Bryan, episode 144, Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 3. And it looks a little different today, doesn't it? Yeah, because we got a whole little panel going on, a whole little live show for y'all. You're going to enjoy this. So, my co-host, as always, Mr. Brian Watkins. We have some extra folks with us today. Our significant others will be joining us for the panel. My significant other been going out for going on 15 years, married for going on 8, and the lovely Jessica Blake. Woo!
Need some fake audience applause.
Go ahead and introduce your significant other, Mr. Watkins.
All right. Also joining us is my awesome, amazing partner, Sarah.
Woo!
Here we are.
We're all on the couch now.
All right. Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 3. When did this come out? Very recently. May 5th, 2023. Okay. $250 million budget. $120 million box office. Hey, that's got to be... I'm sure it's higher than that by now.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's higher than that by now. So... First off, continuation of the whole, of course, Marvel. 30 friggin' 40 movies in. I don't think those are really necessary to enjoy this.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
No. It's kind of a standalone story.
Yeah, pretty much. Guardians 1 came out in, 2014? Something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Guardians 2, I don't know, 18? 17? Maybe, I don't know. It's been a while.
I feel like it's been a really long time.
It's been a bit. So, our story, how the heck did it start? It started with the rocket, right? Was that at the beginning?
That was the cold open with the rocket.
Listening to that song.
Yeah, you gotta raise the levels, baby. Come on now. Talking to the world. Oh yeah, it started with Creep. Mm-hmm. 90s little gem. That was pretty fun.
Good song.
I think we had him in the cage, and then there's an ominous hand that comes through.
Oh yeah.
And then I think then we cut to modern, and he's just sitting on some stairs listening to Radiohead's Creep.
Yeah, and they're all living in the head of that god from number 2, right? Mm-hmm. That they got. I can't remember how they got it, but they're living in that head.
Nowhere.
Yeah, Nowhere is what it's called. What was I gonna say? Oh, I saw a thing from IGN just scrolling Facebook, and it was warning: Guardians of the Galaxy 3 may be difficult to watch for young viewers or animal lovers. I was like, really? Come on. They're fucking right. I don't know about young viewers, but I'm an animal lover, and this shit gets you, baby.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you bring your tissues, don't bring your dog. Because, first of all, the theaters frown upon that. And second of all, you're going to be clutching that dog by the end of this thing. Mm-hmm. So pretty much the whole movie is kind of flashbacks between Rocket and how he was made and came to be who he is. And the other thing is Rocket... I don't remember, what the heck was that first battle that got him hurt?
Because Warlock comes in and starts wrecking shit up.
Warlock. That guy from We Are the Millers. And he's all gold. You've seen him in the trailers. He was pretty cool. Just super OP. But they later tell you that he was like pulled out of the chamber early, so he's a child. No. And he's like kind of dumb, and so he was kind of cool. But he hurts Rocket with a, he's got like laser hands, a laser blast or something. And so the rest of the other half of the movie is the Guardians. He has a chip on his heart because he was manufactured by these people, and it's like a fail-safe, so no one can mess with his innards because he's a proprietary IP, and if you mess with his innards, he'll blow up and die. So they got to get the code to be able to fix his insides. That's it. Those two stories, and they kind of hop between the two. So the animal stuff. It just gets you right into it, man. Mm-hmm. Gets you right into it, and he's got his friends. He's got an otter?
Lila.
Otter, Lila. Like a walrus named Teefs. And then a rabbit named Floor. Because they all come up with their own names, and it's kind of funny them come up with the names. But the otter has like robot arms and legs, and the walrus has like wheels on his bottom part, and the saddest one was the damn rabbit, dude. Yeah. Floor is like just like a rabbit skin, like plastered on like a mechanical spider, like stitched on it, and it's like, oh damn, they just eviscerated this rabbit.
That scene reminded me of Toy Story.
Yeah.
When Woody comes to Andy's room and all the little fucked up creatures come out. That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah, Sid's room.
Sid's room, that's what it was, not Andy's. Andy wasn't the crazy one.
You zealots! Yeah, so that's hard. And then we get introduced to the main bad guy. What the heck was his name, bro?
I don't remember.
Dang, the wolf.
I will say, when you're looking that up, one of the first scenes that really got me was the first time you see Rocket in the cage, and he's like cowering, and you see like the top of his head has been shaved off, and he's meeting these other characters for the first time, and they're trying to comfort him, and then he looks up in his little child voice, and he goes, "It hurts." I was just like, oh my god, it just melts your heart.
Yeah. When he first meets the other animals.
Yeah. It's just like a little baby.
Yeah, and the high evolutionary, right? Mm-hmm. A scientist from Counter Earth specializing in creating hybrid creatures. So they got this thing called Counter Earth, which is just like Earth, but filled with like abominations of God and like hybrid robot like freaks.
The island of Dr. Moreau.
Yeah, there's a bunch of human animal people running around.
Yeah, it was like 1999's Planet of the Apes. Mm-hmm. A bunch of humanoid animal creatures. So he's trying to create some perfect society by completely hurting all these little creatures and turning them into humanoid creatures. And that's what Rocket was. And Rocket was super smart. And I guess the whole thing is they're trying to find Rocket because what did he do? He solved a problem.
He had a perfect brain.
Yeah.
He was able to come up with his own thoughts instead of just repeating what he was told.
Yeah, because all the other animals, they had to hard train them, right? They told them everything they knew. And he says something later in the movie, like he's the only one that came up with it on his own. Mm-hmm. And if they can't come up with thoughts on their own, they're just going to die. Something like that. So let's get some panel interaction here. Favorite character?
My favorite character, I would probably say, was Nebula. I don't know why, but I just felt that I liked her hard side that you knew from all of the other movies that transformed in the end to this, heartfelt woman who was able to see her crew, her friends, her family transform. I saw you, like what she said to, what was it, Drax? Like, yeah. I saw you become a dad today. I saw you do this. And so I thought, like, her transformation through the movie was pretty cool. And also, I don't know, she's cool. I like her.
Yeah, I think she said, "You're not meant to be a destroyer. I see what you are. You're meant to be a dad." Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which is a cool callback, because, right, Drax wants to kill Thanos in the first one because he killed his daughter, or something like that.
Kill his family.
Yeah, he had a family and a daughter. Yeah, right on.
Yeah, Nebula, for like the last couple of movies, she's just portrayed as like this hard ass, like, barking orders. But this movie kind of shows like compassion and her loving this group, or her role in the group. So I did like that, because typically, she just shouts things and be angry. But yeah, it shows a different side of her in this movie that I really liked.
And there was that fun tension between her and Star-Lord. as a love interest.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, definitely.
I totally thought
I thought they were
gonna.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like,
That would have been
wait a minute.
cool.
Yeah.
Maybe they should have done that. What about you, Sarah?
I was gonna say Rocket just because we get to learn so much about Rocket, like you can't help but like him more as you learn about his trauma and how he's become who he is. But then in my heart, it was just Drax. I love Drax.
Yeah, Drax.
Like,
Drax was very good at
Yeah, he was so good.
He had some great moments. The metaphors.
Yeah, his
Yeah.
dialogue is just on point throughout the whole
Yeah.
movie, and it's like whenever there's a dark tone, he comes in, and it's just like, oh wait.
I think my favorite part was when he says, like, I pooped a poop today that looked like a fish. Metaphor. Even my butt can create a metaphor. That was pretty good.
So good.
Yeah, I mean, all those are great points, but for some reason, I keep going back to that damn Cosmo.
Yeah.
Stealing the show for me. The little Russian cosmonaut dog that talks through its translator. It's a very small character, but every second that dog is on screen, I just loved it.
Yeah.
And there's a whole running gag throughout the movie where that guy says she's a bad dog, and she just can't let it go. They're at a poker game, and he said I was a bad dog. What? Oh, dude. It still hurts to this day.
Just let it go. It hurts every time.
Yeah, and then finally he makes it up to her at the end. She's a very good dog. Then she squishes something or somebody. I can't quite remember. Yeah, great. What about... So we get Gamora's return, and she's like with the Ravagers, and I think it's really unique in the way they bring her in. They don't try to just... You would think Disney, Marvel, okay, by the end of the movie she's going to be the Gamora we know.
Yeah.
She's going to fall back in love with Quill. But I like that, happy endings aren't always what you think they should be.
Mm-hmm.
So her happy ending was going back to the Ravagers, and you can see she's very happy and hugging everybody, and the only time she actually looks happy on screen is like that moment.
Yeah.
So her happy ending happened to be that, which is okay. It's like it's okay that her happy ending wasn't what Quill wanted her happy ending to be, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, see, it's even like the experience that she has with the Guardians will make her bond with her crew stronger. It's like she's not going to bond with these guys, but the experience that she had with them will probably make a stronger bond. Like I think she understands the family dynamic, and so it actually could make her even happier with what she went through with the Guardians, which I thought was really cool. And I like that the whole movie, she's just like, I'm not the Gamora. Like that wasn't me. I'm a completely different Gamora, and he just won't let it go. I like that a lot. But yeah, they do start with that will they, won't they kind of thing. And I'm glad that they just got rid of that.
Because there's definitely a moment where they like get real close,
Mm-hmm.
and you think they're gonna kiss or something. And I do like that before she leaves, she does get a moment to make Quill, kind of happy. You could tell she knows that, okay, I could see maybe falling in love with him, but that's not me.
Yeah.
So she tells him before she leaves, like, I bet we were really fun.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, you don't even know.
Yeah.
And that was all.
It's like, oh.
That's all he needed.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, that's not my future anymore. She acknowledged it, and yeah, that was a pretty cool send off. And so, yeah, I thought it was really fun. It was a great kind of tie up for everybody. You get these happy endings that are kind of sad, right? Because like by the end of it, they're kind of broken up, but at the same time, it's 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 still a happy ending for everybody individually, but it's not the happy ending you want to see as like a Guardians fan.
Yeah.
You just want it to stay the same and be a happy family forever. So that was cool. What with the so this bad guy. What we think of this bad guy? It's all about the baddies in Marvel, and that's been the big controversy. Is these bad guys they're throwaway. they last one movie, and you don't care, and they're not.
Yeah.
Well, we already forgot his name.
Yeah.
I
think it holds some water, that argument.
I would say that this, unfortunately, is the case. I think that he starts interesting, but then as the movie goes on, he just becomes the character who stands in a room and just shouts things, and becomes less interesting. So that was pretty unfortunate. I don't think he's very memorable. Like I said, I think he started that way, like, oh, this guy is kind of fucked up and weird and twisted, and I think that his story is interesting. Like, he just wants to create life and create this perfect world. But again, it's just reduced to him standing in a room, shouting things at people, and that's basically it. And then he dies. So I thought that was kind of a bummer.
I felt like he didn't have so much, like, power behind him until, like, he started throwing people around at the end, which was kind of, like, here and there. So it didn't, to me, make him seem so scary, you know, like, but he is an evil piece of shit for what he did to those animals. So
and, what's with all of a sudden all the bad guys just generic superpowers? Like the last, like Krang in the last one we reviewed. What was that?
Ant-Man.
Ant-Man. Mm-hmm. And it's just like you don't explain what he does. He's just like moving shit. It's all the same. Everyone just has fucking telekinesis or something, and it's like, okay, just every bad guy has this, and this is what they have, and they're super powerful. Where does it come from? Why does it? I don't get it.
Yeah, it's like every villain since. I mean, I thought Thanos was an awesome villain.
Oh yeah.
And I think every villain since hasn't really been that strong, unfortunately. Yeah. Or at least memorable.
We don't know what his motivation is. Mm-hmm. So I think if they had built out his character more, we have no idea why he has this god complex.
That's a good point.
Yeah, he says he wants to make the world perfect, not destroy it. But Thanos, when he had that idea, you could see his behind it, his point of view. Mm-hmm. As twisted as it may have been, you're like, oh, he might be right. Mm-hmm. And he still may have been. But, this guy is like, I don't know, man. Animal perfect world, and it's one world too. It's not the galaxy. Mm-hmm. I just want this one perfect weird animal world. That'd be fun.
That's a good point about not knowing, because like with Thanos, like what both of you were saying, which is that like Thanos was like, hey, I need to wipe out half the population of the world because you don't have the resources to sustain all these people, and so it's a awful thing to do, but at least you understand why he's doing it and the motivations. But yeah, to your point, we don't know why he's doing any of the things that he's doing other than I just want to do that. It's like give us a reason that we can kind of have some sort of understanding of why he's doing it. But yeah, they don't give that. He's just bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the first time they go do something, they go to this world where Rocket, the company that made Rocket, is their headquarters, and it's like this living thing.
So gross.
Yeah,
it's it's like grown, and they get on the surface of it and have to cut out a piece of it to go in, and it's just like a piece of like fatty tissue and like juice is coming off of it and stuff.
Yeah.
And that was interesting, and then like they introduced these Centurion guards or something, like the badass guards.
Nathan Fillion.
Oh,
but they have these stupid ass suits that are just ridiculous looking.
I know. I was like the biggest puppy with the whole thing.
I thought it was perfect.
I loved it. Yeah.
Just stupid looking. Yeah, and it's Nathan Fillion.
Yeah.
And the whole time I was thinking, man, he could still play Drake.
Yeah.
Like this dude looks pretty young
for Uncharted. Yeah.
Like they did some good makeup or something. I don't know if they de-aged him. Maybe even like that's the best I'd seen him in a while. I feel like he doesn't look like that. They did something, but he looked good and he was super funny. I love the recurring gag they kept having with him. It's like, oh, he's stupid. Oh, I know what that's like.
I got one. Yeah, I guess.
He's just sitting right there, and he does it to like multiple people. That's pretty good.
That was.
And more of Drax's funniness in that scene. Like God, he was just Batista was crushing it.
Batista's man, he's so good. He was born to play Drax, man.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm really glad that it got to get done before, Gunn moves on to DC. And, because I remember there's an interview with Batista, and they're like, well, there's talks there might not be a Guardians 3. And Batista's like, yeah, I'm not sure if I want to do any more movies for Disney. And they're like, why? They rubbed me the wrong way, I'm not going to get too into it, but they got rid of Gunn, and I just don't think they handled it properly, and I don't know if I want to work for them. And they ended up bringing Gunn back. Because this, I think, where were we in Phase 5 now?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think this Guardians 3 was supposed to be an entry Phase 4 movie.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows what the fuck that movie would have been, because it wouldn't have been this at all. So I don't even understand how that works. It would have been very different.
Yeah, I don't think it would have been... My guess would have, if they made it back then, it wouldn't have been as, like, them breaking up at the end. I imagine they probably wanted to make 4 or 5 of these things, like an Ant-Man. But now that James Gunn is going to DC, I feel like they kind of had to change and wrap things up. And also, I hope that James Gunn brings Batista into the DC world, because I would love to see him play someone in the DC universe.
Yeah,
with James Gunn's writing and everything.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. There you go, buddy. You happy?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm happy now.
So yeah, I mean, animal lovers, be ready, man. I looked over and Jesse had a pile of napkins. I'm like, fuck, is that popcorn that greasy?
It was the rabbit. Like, every time the
Just getting it.
flashbacks, like, it was so hard with those flashbacks. Like, for...
Yeah, and like Rocket's finally gonna save everybody, makes this ingenious key card to get him out,
I know.
and opens the cages and explains to them that no, they're gonna kill us. They're not sending us to a paradise, and they kind of don't believe it for a second, but then they're like, okay, we need to go. Then that asshole comes and shoots his friend Lila in the back, and the walrus and the rabbit are just kind of watching from their cages as he's just visceral.
Yeah.
Con! He just got this fucking scream, dude. And yeah, then I can't remember, there's some back and forth between them, and I think he goes and just lets out his anger on him and just starts scratching his face.
Mm-hmm.
A la Ninja Turtles with Splinter going at Orokosaki.
Yeah.
But way worse, apparently, as we saw at the end of the movie.
Pretty brutal.
Yeah, yeah. And then, like, his guards come in. He's kind of incapacitated. And there's a bunch of gunfire. And he takes them out with a gun. But then he looks behind him and realizes that both the Keith and Floor have been shot in the ensuing mayhem. And they're both gone, too. And so he escapes. And so, yeah, that's super sad. I don't know if that was sadder or when he's kind of dying on the operating table. He sees him again in like the heaven type place, and he gets to say hi to Lila again, and Floor and Teef, and how they tell him, no, we've been flying in the sky like you said, and you're right, it is forever. Mm-hmm. And the moment that got me when they're doing that is when he said, can I come?
Yeah. It's like, aww.
And they said, I think she said, yeah. And then she said, but not yet.
Yeah, actually,
But
I think
flashback
flash
to the,
to
the present
and
time.
Star-Lord's freaking the fuck out.
Yeah.
Like, he
'Cause
starts
he's, like,
flatlining.
Yeah, Star-Lord is really cool because he's had so much death in his life, and he's just not going to accept this one, and that's another visceral scream. No!
Yeah. I'm not letting him go.
And yeah, that was so good. And I think Nebula is there at the table too, right?
No, it's Gamora.
Is it Gamora?
And I feel like it was like at that moment that Gamora realized like
I think she
the
changed,
importance of the family, the bond, the dynamic, because she looked at him at saving with Rocket and was just like,
yeah.
Then she just started going to town too.
Yeah, I think she thought it was fake, right? And then she saw it's very real that they all really care about each other.
Yeah,
and how she probably in another life, would have bought into this, but it's not her anymore.
I think she bought into it at that very moment.
Well, yeah, she bought into it for a minute.
That moment was like, all right, this is what's going to change me, because then once she's released back to her people, you know, her and her family, the bond, it's like I felt she was different with them at that point too than when we first saw her with what were the Ravagers? Is that what they're called?
You got it. Go ahead.
Oh, I don't know.
No, you're doing great.
When she first comes in with the Ravagers.
Sure, it's the Ravagers. Right. Go on.
I felt like she changed.
Yeah.
It was different. It was different with the being reunited with them.
It was different.
Because of that.
And what I didn't like, though, is we didn't get no love story between Drax and Mantis. I thought that was always a thing they were kind of building up, that they had this kind of love for one another.
Yeah.
But that didn't really pan out that way. It's almost more like a brother and sister thing. But, because what does... Their goodbye is pretty emotional.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
And she's leaving, and, damn it, I don't remember what he says. Oh, but there's another part that was emotional. When she's explaining he's an idiot. Oh, yeah, because who was it? Was it Nebula going off? Like, he always just messes everything up. He's an idiot, okay? But we like him because he's the one that cares the most about anybody. You don't love anybody. Like, Drax loves all of us. Who cares if he's an idiot? Yeah. And he's incompetent in absolutely everything he does.
But he makes us laugh.
and then he's, he says something like
this.
I don't like your defensive.
Yeah.
And it's like...
But then he asks, he's like, you think I'm an idiot?
Yeah, and you can tell he's really crushed.
Yeah.
That someone he loves so much and thinks so highly of thinks he's an idiot. Mm-hmm. And then she has said never... You don't use your powers on your friends and all that, and she makes him forget. Yeah. Which was pretty cool. Yeah. And then he's back to, lucky I opened that door with my strength.
Oh, God.
But when they're saying goodbye, I don't remember what she says, man.
I don't think there's any dialogue. I think they just see
really?
from
No,
afar.
I was worried about her being saved.
Oh, yeah.
There's a preemptive.
I'm going to protect you. I'll go with you and I'll protect you. I can... No, I don't need you to do that or something. And he's like, it's not because you can't. It's because of your incredible weakness.
So good.
She had the freaking 3 Sarlacc creatures there to...
Were those like in the game? Those are in something.
I don't remember.
Like one of the movies
familiar.
Or something. Yeah, they're so familiar.
I did think in that scene, though, because they're in the cage and they're talking to the kids and they tell them to run off. But then when you cut to the wide shot of the cage, I'm like, so wait... Were the kids in the same room as the monsters? Like, well, how did that work? They just didn't eat the kids? What's going on?
They eat batteries, not humans. Duh, they're just they're as scared as us if we are them.
That's right.
But, then Drax just wells up.
Yeah. Well,
gets those tears in his eyes, and that's a pretty emotional part. And, so we're kind of just wheeling and dealing through it. So by the end, Gamora goes back with her people, but is happy and sees, the value in the Guardians. I think Rocket is pretty much the only original Guardian left. Him and Groot.
Groot, yeah.
And then they have the new team. Quill is finally convinced by... Who the heck convinced him? Was it Mantis? That he should go back and look for his grandfather?
Mm-hmm. I think so, yeah.
Yeah, because she's like, your grandpa was there. You guys were all 3. And he's like, he doesn't care. So maybe he was scared or something. And anyways.
So you're my sister. You're all I need. And she's like, no.
Yeah. We only found that out in the holiday special. It's barely canon. I didn't watch that garbage. So he ends up going back to Earth and seeing his grandpa. That's a pretty cool part. Mm-hmm. And like a black lady, older lady, answers the door. And so he's like, I must be at the wrong house. She's like, no, you're not. And she immediately knows. Yeah. Which is pretty cool, right? And he goes in and he sees all the pictures of him and his mom on the wall. And he goes in the back porch and he's back there, I don't know, reading a newspaper or something. And
as old people do.
Yeah. And he immediately says, Peter? Peter! Pete! Oh, you old rascal! Get over here! How you been, old buddy? It's like... it was good. And then, so what? Drax goes with Nebula, right? To take care of this new planet with all these creatures. Because they were going to save all these humanoid... And then they moved on. So they moved on from the animal creatures to, like, humans. Mm-hmm. So now there's, like, these perfect humans that speak this gibberish language. That Drax knew how to speak the whole time. Why didn't you tell us that you knew how to speak the language? You never asked. But, so he stays with them, and then I thought it was a cool moment when all the animals are still on the ship, and they're about to leave, and Rocket kind of passes by the hallway and hears the cries, and the surround sound on this part was fucking... I thought there was a dog in the fucking theater. I heard something like, what the fuck? Is that your dog? I was like, shit going all around. I was like, damn, that's good. I really learned how to use this.
Good old AMC.
They got that Atmos or what? Damn. Spatial sound that came from under me and shit. I heard a mouse like... But, yeah, he sees him and he just can't stop. And you remember, all throughout these movies, he's denying he's a raccoon.
Yeah.
Right? No, you're just a raccoon. I'm not a raccoon. I don't even know what that is. And he goes up to the cage, and there's like 20 baby raccoons in one cage. And just sweetness with their little sweetie eyes looking at him. Just little baby doll eyes, dark like a doll's eyes, Chief. And looking at him. And I think one of them, he puts his nose in there or something, and like one of them, kind of grabs him. Yeah, as we all know, raccoons use their hands for things, and that makes them cuter than far any other mammals. You know what I mean. But, and he looks at the door, and it's like, I don't know what the fucking scientific term for a raccoon is, but it's like raccoonius patona, you know, and all the stats of the animal. And then, you know, I think it says like regular term, raccoon.
Yeah.
And he sees that, and he's like, I am a raccoon. And that was a kind of cool moment. And he saves all of them. You got it?
And then he starts reaching in and grabbing all the babies.
All the
and
babies.
he takes them all and puts them all over his body.
Hold on to mama.
Oh, so that was a tearjerker right there.
Yeah. And then for a moment, you think that's going to be enough. Like, he's almost not going to save all the other animals. I was like, dude, come on, man.
I know, I thought that too for a second.
But then RoboCop comes in. Bastard comes in. And I love when Rocket, he just kind of shakes them all off because he has to fight. And he fights him, starts getting his butt whooped, right? He's doing the crazy, stupid throw, and Rocket's kind of getting whooped. I don't remember how he gets the upper hand.
He turns his boots on.
Oh, yeah, the boots are on the beginning of the movie. Why are you walking upside down?
Throw back to the boots.
And then everyone shows up.
Yeah.
They all get a hit in.
Yeah.
And it's like, I felt like somebody played the game. That got really big.
Yeah.
Because a lot of parts of this reminded me of parts of the game. Like, this is the team-up thing where you have you collect your boost,
Yeah,
and then everybody does something crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this feels like that. I was like, that's cool. I don't know if it was meant to be or not, but I liked that.
Yeah.
And, they beat him up, and then Gamora takes off his face. Like, his face is now RoboCop'd, Peter Wellered on, but one of the flaps is off, right? And then she rips it off, and then he's like, this is what you did to me. And he looks like Red Skull.
Yeah, from Captain America.
/ Harvey Dent. The bad side.
Real.
He's got the eyeball out and shit.
Yeah.
Half the cleft palate lipping down and stuff. This is what you did to me. And it's like, he deserved it, you bastard. Yeah. So, yeah, but they do end up, I love it, saving all the animals, and it's like the frickin' Moses and the Ark, and they all come running into the damn other ship.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we were only going to save the smarter species. Yeah, I thought that too.
I remember one of them jumped through and started scratching it. I thought that was a nice
that's fucked up. You make us like these animals, and you're like, well, maybe there was a reason they should.
Yeah, Mantis is like running with the thing and just fucking throws it.
It was like a little, like a
spider monkey.
chimpachu monkey that jumps at. Like the poor girl looks like the RoboCop character. This is why.
That was her origin story right there. It's her. She's the future villain.
So good.
Oh, funny shit. You know what's another funny thing? I just saw this in an interview. I was watching some shit, and you remember when like Peter's drunk, and they have that first battle, and then Nebula's carrying him out, right? That's a full body double that weighs 35 pounds, so she could carry him out like that, and that was all real. And I guess James Gunn still has it.
Oh wow!
Like in his office.
Nice.
Creepy.
And he's like, yeah, I can't remember what the hell did he say. He's like, Chris Pratt's like, so you have it? Yeah. And I was like, well, people come, and then I can't remember what he said. People come and something, and he's like, what? People come, and then they see it, and then I let them have fun. He's like, say it one more time. And it's like, and then it was Chris Pratt. He's always very dirty. I don't know if you've seen bloopers and stuff from Parks and Rec, but he's like, you let people come in the Chris Pratt doll? It's like, no. People come and see it. Oh, they come and see it. Ah, God. It's like you're just going to town on my 35-pound Chris Pratt doll. Anyways, it was a super funny moment. Probably some Ask Joe Mojo interview. Yeah. We can use none of this, guys. Thanks. Appreciate it. But, yeah. So, heartfelt, right? It tugs at some heartstrings. This fucking heartless bastard didn't find any of the animal shit sad.
It was sad. But
he was laughing.
Just howling.
Fuck that raccoon!
No, I think the part that actually got me was the when everyone is starting to go their own ways, and then Rocket, Peter. There's always this gag at the end of these movies. Actually, I don't remember the second one so I can't speak to the second one. But at the end of the first one, Peter Quill gets a tape from his mom. And it's like a new mix, and that kind of carries through with this one where he gives Rocket a new mix, and it's from the 2000s, and then hits play. Florence and the Machine's "Dog Days Are Over" comes on.
See, I wasn't familiar with that song.
Oh yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, I like that song too.
And then you just see a montage of everyone saying goodbye, and that's what got me. Because, like, to your point, it's like not happy. It's like it is happy, but it's not. So I don't know. That really hit me. Like when Drax says goodbye to well, they don't say anything, but they just see each other, and he's actually crying. Just seeing Rocket and just having this experience that Rocket just had, looking out, and everyone starts dancing. I don't know. It was really emotional. That got me. But the animal stuff was definitely really fucking sad, but didn't get me.
Yeah, I definitely had to wipe some tears during that little heaven part. Oh, shit. And then I looked over to Dave to be like, hey, how emotional is this, right? I'm crying like a couple schoolgirls over here, right? He's over there just passed out. And I was like, Jesse.
Oh my God.
And then he kind of came to, and I was like, pretty emotional, huh? He just kind of
totally.
Yeah, he just kind of laughed. Oh, so good.
Those afternoon matinees, man. It's nap time. They get you.
Would have started at 12:05. It would have been okay. Motherfucker, you said 12:05.
Oh my
God. Yeah, emotional. I think it was a good wrap up for all the story arcs, right? Even though, for some reason, at the second credit scene, it's just it was kind of stupid, but kind of funny. They're sitting there, right? Quill's eating cereal. His grandpa's at the table. It's like, no, I'll help if they need my help. But, I just think it's something her son should probably do. He's a 45-year-old grown man. I'm not going to go mow his lawn. That's just weird. And then it said Peter Quill will return. And usually they say what they're going to... Star-Lord will return.
Star-Lord will return.
They usually say what they're going to return in, I feel like, when they've done that before.
It's probably this year's Christmas special.
Yeah.
I felt like that was a kind of a cheap way to do that end scene. Like, they were like, I don't know, who can we get on short notice to do one real quick scene? And then we'll just put some text on the screen, because I don't know, we'll do something in the future. That's what I was just kind of like, really?
Yeah.
And I feel like Chris Pratt is going to keep doing this. I feel like he would be done.
I thought he was done too.
And I thought he said, I want to go with Chris, or go with James. Yeah. I kind of want to, I would love to do something in DC, but because James is definitely going to be gone. Yeah. Because he's the fucking head of DC Studios now. So he ain't got time to be messing with and I'm sure they put something in his contract. Like, you can't keep doing Marvel movies if you're the
the head of
face
the fucking
of
DC.
That's not gonna fly. Well, you can do the one you're already contracted out, but after that, that's it. So that's kind of strange that he would want to stick around because everyone's gone, man.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking Downey's gone. Evans is gone. They got Thor left.
All you have is Chris Hemsworth.
And you got
Ant-Man,
yeah, Paul Rudd. I mean, he's always. It's like that's their big problem now. Is that I think that the team is dwindling.
Yeah, it's like they do this thing. So the first post-credit scene is basically just a scene that sets up the new Guardian team. And they've done this in the past where it's like, I think it was one of the Avengers movies where it's like the Avengers break up but then they end with like the new Avengers walking in slow-mo. And both instances, the Avengers in this, I'm just like, I'm not
excited about your new lineup.
Not really impressing. It's not like Rocket and everything, but it's
like
just
you ordered it off Wish or something.
And they didn't seem very tough to me. Like, I was just like, you're not very scary.
But it's because I don't know them very well. Like,
is that guy, the guy with the mohawk, is that James Gunn's brother?
His brother, yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. Because it kind of looks like him, and then I saw the something Gunn. I was like, his brother?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay. I guess this is a part where we give final thoughts, and we put a number on it.
Oh, geez.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, this is the what people come for. It's the tough job, but someone's got to do it. Okay? We'll start at this end, and we'll move over. There you go, baby.
Really do
Hit it up.
numbers.
Final thoughts and a number.
Okay, that's a little put of pressure there. So I guess my final thought is that I thought the movie was really good. I'm not very caught up on the whole Marvel movie world because I missed the last few. I think I missed like the last Thor and a couple other ones. The
last 22.
Avengers. So going into this, I didn't feel lost, confused. I thought it was really good. I liked the different levels of the emotions of the characters throughout it. The transformation, I guess, if you will. Like, through every character I thought was pretty cool. And, of course, getting Rocket's backstory was hard, but I'm glad that we got to know that. I'd say probably my score will be, I'd say like an 8.2.
Ooh, okay.
Because I thought it was really good and had some good moments.
I think I'm right there with you. Fun movie. Felt a little long. I don't know if that was because I had extremely pissed during the whole thing. Because and then it just felt longer.
Got
Come on, man.
Change an entire feeling.
Guys.
Oh, yeah. I could change the entire experience. Goodbye, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah. Happy ending. Let's go, motherfucker. Today. Anyways, but did it feel long?
It was
Yes.
long.
Okay, it felt a little long then, right? It wasn't just the pee talking. So, but it was fun and emotional during the whole run. I guess it kind of feels like it maybe needed to be that long so you could get a really good culmination of everything. But if you're going to bring Star-Lord back, it's not really much of a culmination, is it? Is one of our dogs outside?
I don't know.
Yeah. And the animal thing is real, man. If you're an animal lover, this is tough. It's a tearjerker.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is the first movie without real animals that PETA goes after. You know, PETA's like,
Yeah.
Hey, what you did to them, those were CGI. I don't care. That's unacceptable.
They're going to go to movie theaters and then throw red paint on the posters outside.
No, people would agree with the message.
Save CGI lives. Yeah, but they were a lot of CGI animals that got hurt in this. Yeah, so that's... I don't want to have the same score as you, but that's what I was at.
Yeah.
That's not right.
Well,
I was thinking...
That's happened to us before. I think once.
8.1, but I was really at an 8.2. I think it's... I'll agree with you. 8.2. I think it's the second best Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Obviously, the first one's best. Second one's kind of meh. And I thought this one was a good send-off. and really fun. You know, James Gunn is really good at this action comedy stuff. It looked pretty cool. Had a good flow to it. Had a good heartfelt message. I'm really excited to see what he can do with some DC stuff. So yeah, 8.2.
Nice. Yeah, I thought it was really good. Echo what you guys have already said. You know, it's emotional. You know, Rocket is the heart and soul of the movie, and it makes a lot of sense because he has a pretty rough background. It's really funny. I mean, James Gunn. I mean, there's so many moments that we haven't even you know. Star-Lord has the first F-bomb in any Marvel movie, and it's used perfectly. It's great. There's a scene where they go to that planet to get the code, and they're having this argument. He's really good at banter, and they're talking about the buttons and what the buttons do. There's like so many awesome back and forth moments in the movie that's really funny. Mm-hmm. So I guess I'll say some things I didn't like. I agree with you. It's way too long. I think that Warlock is completely underused and could have been completely cut from this movie, and it would have been probably stronger. Because every time they kept cutting back to him, it was like, I don't give a shit. Let's get back to the Guardians, because they are the core of the story. So I feel like the movie could have been cut a little shorter if they just cut him out. I don't know if they had to use him or something, because they teased him in this last movie.
Yeah, they did.
I thought that the last climax of the movie just felt like another Marvel CG explosions stuff. Although there was a cool oneer in the hallway, the camera doesn't cut, and it kind of just warping around the room, and you get to see everyone do some cool, action scene stuff with Beastie Boys playing. I thought that was pretty fun. And also the story, I'm kind of mixed because it didn't feel like an epic end of the trilogy type of story. It was kind of just a fetch quest, we need to go get this thing, and then okay, we got the thing, now we got to go get another thing. I don't know, there's just something about it. I think all the little scenes in between that bridge them are interesting and cool, and all the rocket stuff. But in terms of a big grand story, I don't think that it really did that. But maybe it's not the point. I don't know. I'm still trying to wrap my head around whether I like it.
Happy endings aren't always what they may appear.
Yes.
But so I'm a little lower than you guys. I think the first one is the best. And as far as James Gunn goes, I think the Suicide Squad is still one of my favorites in terms of a squad movie that he's done. This movie I'm gonna give a 7.8. So I'm not too far from you guys, but I don't know if it's quite an 8 for me. But good time, it's funny. Yeah, 7.8.
I loved this movie. I love all of the Guardian of the Galaxy movies. I think they're hilarious. I love the music. I think the characters are amazing. I love their dynamic together. I liked the set pieces in this. That weird, flesh world was really cool. I had a lot of fun in there. I liked seeing Nathan Fillion in there. Yeah. So I just liked so much of it. I don't think these movies can do wrong. And
to say, I looked over a couple times. And
yeah,
you were like this.
Yeah, I was in the whole time. I did not feel like it was too long.
I was making fun of the guy in the beginning. Did you see? In the preview, he's eating his popcorn. I was like, you ever seen someone eat their popcorn and lean forward into the movie?
I'm like, what?
She's a
the animals in a cage, and then what? I gotta get in. Yeah. So I was hooked the whole time. I didn't feel like it was long at all. I was glued the whole time. We also got Groot saying something other than I'm Groot.
Oh, yeah.
I love you guys.
That was good.
So, and I also loved that theme of the not perfect endings. Us not getting it, none of the relationships in the movie getting it. I loved all of that. It was just kind of a very real... Yeah. Things progress and move forward and we move on. This is what the ending feels like. There's never a definitive end to anything. Mm-hmm. And so we kind of got that as our takeaway. So I'm going to be extremely generous. I would give this to all of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. It's a fucking 10. And I don't know why you guys don't give out more 10.
Get out of here with that 10 shit.
The rookie score, we don't do it. Disregard the rookie score.
Nice.
We don't do it.
Look, you know what? Rookie here giving it a rookie score. I'll take it.
All right, so...
Damn high praise.
I like it.
Fucking 10.
That's a fucking 10.
7, 8, 8, 2, 8, 2. So aggregate those. We're at about what is that, like an 8
Yeah.
average,
Sure.
kind of across
There's
those
math in there.
boards. There you go, pretty good. Yeah. Go check it out. In theaters now. We appreciate having you as always. This is going to be probably a YouTube exclusive episode. Sorry, I guess I'm apologizing to the guys that can't hear it. So you'll figure it out next week when we talk to you about it. So as always, from the Bryan versus Bryan family, what do we always say? Until the next V's.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace. Come on, guys. You even watch the show?